Hello, good morning. I hope that you're all well and that you have had a good week. My week has gone by in a flash. I've crammed a lot into this week. I finished Cicely Margaret Ingram and I'm hoping to get her to the framers on Tuesday. We woke this morning to headlines in our newspapers that we're expecting our Prime Minister to announce maybe on Wednesday that the country is going back into full lockdown. We shall have to wait and see if the newspapers have got that story correct, but I want to get Cicely in to be framed because I know that many of you are very anxious to get Cicely to stitch her yourselves. In last week's video, I did say that I would be bringing forward our 2 Christmas releases. They were planned to be released on November the 30th, but I'd had so many emails from needleworkers that live in the Southern Hemisphere and in some other countries that are hard for mail to get to, that they were concerned that they were going to miss receiving their orders in time for Christmas. So we are releasing today our 2 Christmas releases. We do have a 3rd Christmas release, but that Christmas release is a PDF, so we can release that one closer to Christmas because it will be an instant download. So our Christmas releases for today is Jane Surtees 1811 and the Alexanders of Linstrathen 1829. Let's have a look at Jane's sampler first. Jane's sampler was stitched by Angela Bulbeck in Canada, and we wanted to keep her for Christmas because we thought that she was very Christmassy. The trees at the bottom are very reminiscent of Christmas trees. Now these trees are most probably taken from a Scottish sampler, but we don't think that the sampler is Scottish. We think this sampler came from the northern counties of England, where we found many Jane Surteeses, too many for us to actually be able to pinpoint our little girl exactly. This is such a pretty sampler. Beautiful colours, and all of these colours have been taken from the front of the sampler. I adore that red house. It's a really pretty one with the blue stripy roof. The windows are satin stitched in the house, and it's got a really lovely door knocker which is very reminiscent of a Christmas wreath. This sampler, from the moment I saw it, said Christmas to me. I love the stripy hillocks and these really pretty flowering shrubs. Now on this sampler there is this sort of gap here, and I thought that would be really lovely for needleworkers to put their own name and date on the sampler. Many of you would have seen Ellen Chester stitching this sampler already. Ellen is a dear friend, and I sent her a copy of Jane Surtees quite a while ago now. I had Jane printed when we were in the first lockdown. I think I had her printed I don't know, at the very beginning of lockdown, just to give my printers a little bit of business when they were desperate for some cash coming in. So Jane's booklets have been sitting in my house quite some time waiting for this release. Now, both of these samplers are available as a printed booklet and as a PDF download. The PDF download is a colour and a black and white chart, multi-page chart, and a single colour and black and white chart as well, so that you can stitch it off your iPad or your phone or some electronic device. Both of them are available now on our website to purchase as a booklet or to purchase as a PDF download. And you will notice on the heading it would say something like the Alexanders of Glenstrathern 1829 printed booklet, and then there will be another entry for the Alexanders of Glenstrathern, a PDF download. The PDF download is priced below the cost of the printed booklet, so there's two choices depending on your preference or your budget, or if you live in an area that's difficult to receive post. There are some countries that I'm not able to post to at the moment because of COVID. PDF downloads get past that. Now, with the printed booklets, I have done our normal print run, but it will be the only print run that we do of these booklets. We now have well over 70 samplers available, and I've just not got room for all of these to be stored in my home. And hats, whilst we run it as a business, it's not a business. Hats is the result of my passion and hobby of needlework and of Sandra's love and passion for needlework as well. So we're trying to make our designs available for everybody's taste. So if you want a printed booklet, it's buy it now. But the PDF will carry on into the future for as long as Hands Across the Sea Samplers has a website and is in existence. Anyway, I went a little bit of a diversion there. Let's get back to Jane's Certis. Jane only uses 9 different colours, 9 different colours, and her stitch count is 178 stitches by 252 stitches. She's a very sweet size. She was stitched with Auvera Soie d'Alger, and in the booklet we have provided conversion for Soie 103 and DMC. She really is a delightful sampler. Make much of precious time while in your power. Be careful well to husband every hour, for time will come when you shall sore lament the unhappy moments you have misspent. And that's very true. I'm sure that many of us look back on our lives and think that I wish I did that differently or made better use of that opportunity or time. She is so pretty. The greens and the reds and the pinks, she chose her colours very, very well. Stitch-wise, it's cross-stitch over 2 with a little bit of cross-stitch over 1 on her verse, and some of these little berries on the trees are over 1. And then you've got this beautiful run of a double sawtooth line of satin stitch. The sawtooth is facing into each other with that beautiful blue on the top and that gorgeous red on the bottom. And then the windows are satin stitched as well. A really delightful sampler. Now, the other sampler we are releasing is the Alexanders of Glenstrathern. And the Alexanders of Glenstrathern excited me so much. The first moment I saw this sampler up for sale, my heart leapt and it fluttered for ages afterwards, and I just knew I wanted this sampler and I wanted to reproduce this sampler. It really, really spoke to me. I've got the original here. In fact, I think what I might do is put the original there and show you the reproduction. Now, the reproduction is a lot smaller than the original. It was our choice and our model stitcher's choice to stitch this one on 46 count weeks dye works Zweigart based linen in cocoa, and I think that you will agree that this is a fabulous choice of linen to match the original sampler. I'm really thrilled with this reproduction. Now, this sampler has so much going on. Even though I'd studied this sampler before I sat down to start to chart her, as I was reproducing her, recording every single stitch, there was still more things that I was noticing in this sampler. The little girl that stitched this sampler, she was so diligent and she had a great eye for detail, and she didn't shirk from adding more and more stitches to her piece of linen. Now this has been glazed, so I'm sorry if there's a little bit of a reflection. Lots of beautiful colours in this sampler, and just so many little extra details. I'm not going to go through them all because I think it's great for you to discover them as you stitch this sampler. But just look at the letter C. She's popped a little bird in, and on the D she's popped a heart in. You'll notice lots of lovely little details about this as you stitch her. Really delightful sampler. When I first saw this sampler, I thought there wasn't a name on it, just the date 1829. But as I studied her, I realised that down the side it had John Alexander and Helen Spladen. And John and Helen are the parents of the child that stitched this sampler. On this side, working upwards, we have various sets of initials, and these initials are in the order that the children were born. And then at the top we have, when I say children, I mean the stitcher and her brothers and sisters, her siblings. This is a record of the family's children. And then at the top we've got 4 initials in black, which will signify deceased family members. Now, we know this sampler is Scottish. When you look at it, it screams Scottish, but we've actually found the family, and they lived in Linstrathen. And we also know of one other sampler that is very similar. I'm not going to say identical, but it's almost identical, that came from Linstrathen, and that sampler is in the collection of Leslie Durst, and we've been talking to Leslie about the 2 samplers. Now, let me get the right booklets. We know that these initials are for Margaret, Maisie, Janet, James, Mary, Helen and Jean. And this sampler was probably stitched by either of the 2 youngest siblings, so that's Helen and Jean. But we actually suspect that it was probably Jean that stitched this sampler, as she was 14 in 1829, and she probably started this sampler way before she was 14. There are so many stitches in the sampler that it would have taken her a while to stitch, because obviously she wouldn't have been sitting down and putting in the hours that we do. This sampler would have been part of her education. We know from family history records that the family were hand loom weavers of linen. So it's very probable that this piece of linen was woven maybe by her mother or her father, maybe by one of her siblings, or maybe it was part of Jean's education or training that she wove this piece of linen. We will never know. That's just, I wonder. But I can't see a family who wove linen in their cottage to have gone out and purchased a piece of linen. It's more probable that they wove this linen. The original sampler is in very good condition as well. I did look at the back of the sampler just to clarify some of these colours that had slightly faded out, but there was very, very little fading on the sampler. And the reproduction of this sampler I'm so pleased with. The colours. Now she did use a lot of colours, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20 different colours. The model stitcher is the contented stitcher, and she did a fabulous job stitching this sampler. She loved this sampler from the very, very moment that she saw it as well, and she couldn't put a needle down. Her needle flew on this sampler, and it was stitched in lockdown. I charted the sampler in lockdown, and the contented stitcher stitched her in lockdown. So this sampler will always remind both of us of a very strange time in our lives. We stitched the sampler with Soie 103, which is our model stitcher's favourite silk. The stitch count is 215, that's 215 by 203 stitches. If you stitch the sampler on 28 count, it would be 15.36 inches by 14.5 inches. Jean actually stitched her sampler on linen that measured 16 by 17 inches. So it was probably, I would imagine, around about a 24-25 count piece of linen that was uneven. If you stitch the sampler on 36 count linen, it will be 11.94 inches by 11.28 inches. We love this sampler so much, and we are so happy to be able to share it with you. It's been so hard sitting on this sampler waiting to release it, and we hope that you enjoy both of these samplers and they make it into your Christmas stocking this year. Let me put Jane back up as well. They really are delightful samplers, both of them. Okay, so these are available on our website now to purchase as a printed booklet or as a PDF. The choice is yours. What else have I been doing this week? Well, finishing Sicily meant that I had a new start, and I started stitching Amelia Jane last night, and here she is. This is what I've done so far. The border's delightful. I love the red and the green. She chose beautiful shades of red and green, and I'm using Overa Soie's 103, and there they are. The colours are 499 and 707. That's right, yes, sorry. Yep, that is right. I ought to put my glasses back on, then I would be able to see them much easier. Beautiful shades. Look at the sheen on that silk. Really, really beautiful. So Amelia Jane is just 2 colours. She's not Scottish. It's very, very easy to presume that a sampler is Scottish when you see red and green, but we know that Amelia Jane probably came from Surrey, but I haven't quite completed my research on this little girl yet to be able to tell you any more about her. But she's delightful. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, I've stitched 9 top leaves and there's 11 on the top. So you can see she's probably going to stop there, and she's not very wide. She's long and thin. And I'll show you another update next week. I couldn't stop stitching yesterday. My needle was just flying on this sampler. The other thing that we have this week is a little giveaway. On Laura and Brenda's Flosstube, Brenda and the Serial Starter, they showed this stitching journal, and I loved it. So I ordered one for myself, and I've ordered one for somebody to win. And stitching journals, they come in all different formats, but I really liked this one. It gave you quite a bit of information to record in a very nice way, and I loved how you could give the project a rating system as well. So you can record many projects in here, and then at the back there is some paper, lined paper, so you can make additional notes. The one thing I wish that were in stitching journals were some blank graph pages, just for you to sort of make sort of personalisations to a graph on. Maybe if somebody's watching this and they do these, you could think about adding some graph pages as well. Anyway, I have one of these to give away to somebody who's watching this video. So to enter, all you need to do is leave a comment on the video, just saying hi, or just sort of make some comment about life, just to record your entry. And what I'm going to do, because it's a huge amount of work, sort of giving everybody a number and doing a random generator draw, I'm going to ask a non-stitching friend, a real life friend that lives and I see, to just go through and just pick a random name, and I will announce the winner of the stitching journal not next weekend, but the weekend after, in my Flosstube video. This video is a very short video today. I'm just looking at it, it's just over 20 minutes. I actually have a little boy who you can probably just see his tail end. Bertie, come say hello. Come and say hello. Come on, come around here and say hello. Bertie and I are now going to go for a walk. He's been patiently waiting to go. Until the next time, stay safe, stay well, enjoy our Christmas releases, and if God is kind, I'll be back next weekend with another Flosstube video. Bye from me and Betty. Gonna say bye-bye. He's too busy looking out the window thinking, where am I going on today's walk? Anyway, bye.